guys, so I have decided to make a little video kind of going over building a character for 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons. This video is going to be pretty much for beginners only, people who've never played 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons before. People who've played previous editions, a lot of this is going to make sense to them. There's going to be some differences, but this is going to be just a very basic building of a first level character for 5th edition D&D. So let's get started. So part 1 is we need to pick a race for our character. And I think we're going to go ahead and pick a dwarf. This is just the basic rules PDF for the game. So your only options are human, halfling, elf, and dwarf. But we are going to go with the dwarf. So, dwarf. And so let's go ahead and jump to the dwarf portion. Whoops. So, get that there. Okay. In 5th edition D&D, you pick a sub-race for your character. So our choices for a sub-race for the dwarf is hill dwarf or mountain dwarf, and these will affect our starting statistics. I think our dwarf is going to come from the hills, so we're going to make a hill dwarf. So we're going to put that hill dwarf. And as a hill dwarf, we have a keen senses, deep intuition, remarkable resilience, and that is going to reflect in our statistics by giving us +1 to our wisdom and +1 to our maximum hit points, and an extra hit point for every level that we gain. So that's pretty cool. And so what class are we going to pick for our dwarf? In the basic rules, we can pick fighter, cleric, rogue, or wizard. I think we're going to go maybe a little different from what you might expect of a dwarf. Normally you have your warrior dwarves and your heavy armor, your gimlis. You also see clerics sometimes, like the more warrior type characters. This time I think we're going to go with a rogue. So we're going to have ourselves a little sneaky dwarf. And yeah. So we're going to do a rogue. And let's go ahead and jump to the rogue. Alright, cool. So, the first thing we need to do, once we've selected our race and our class, is we need to generate our ability scores. Typically, that is done with 4 6-sided dice, also referred to as 4d6. What we do is we roll all 4 dice, we take the lowest result of those 4, and we discard it, and we take the remaining 3 dice, we sum the total, and that becomes one of our ability scores. We have 6 ability scores: strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. All are very important in the 5th edition of Dungeons & Dragons. So let's go ahead and roll. And in previous versions of the game, especially like original Dungeons & Dragons, 1st edition, Advanced Dungeons & Dragons, and 2nd edition, you would roll for every individual ability. So I would say, okay, now I'm rolling for strength, I would roll my dice. It's not that way in 3rd edition on. Now we roll 6 times, and then we get to assign our rolls to the abilities we want, based upon the class we chose. Whereas in previous versions of the game, you would roll, find out what your abilities are, and then that would decide what your options were for your class. You know, if you didn't have a really high charisma, you couldn't be a bard or a paladin. So how well or poorly you rolled had a pretty significant impact on the kind of character you can make. In newer versions, they let you make any kind of character you want, which is really cool. I like that a lot. So let's go ahead and start rolling. So we got our 4 6-sided dice. We've got, let's see, a 5, a 4, a 4, and a 2. So the 2 is our lowest. We're going to discard that. That gives us, see, 4, 8, 13. Alright. And next, we've got a 6, a 6, a 4, and a 2. So again, the 2 is the lowest. Get rid of that. So we've got 6, 12, 16. And then we've got, let's see, 4, 4, 3, 1. Discard the 1. That gives us 4, 8, 11. And then we've got a 5, 4, 2, and a 1. Discard the 1. That gives us 5, 9, 11. And now we've got a 5, a 4, a 2, and a 2. So since our lowest die is tied with another die, we just pick one of them and discard them. So that leaves us with a 5, 4, and a 2. So that's 5, 9, 11. So we got another 11. Okay, and now for our final score. Ooh, that's pretty awful. So we've got a 5, a 1, a 1, and a 1. Alright, awesome. So we get rid of one of the ones. So we got 5, 6, 7. Ooh, that's not good. Alright. So let's see. Okay, so we got a 13, 6, 11, 11, 11, and a 7. So now, we're gonna play a rogue. So, what we're looking for as being a sneaky sneak, we're gonna want to be good with like ranged weapons, light weapons that where being agile and where finesse is important. So as a rogue, we're going to want to put our 16 into dexterity. So I'm going to go and put that there. Let's see. You know what? I'm going to think that our rogue, we're going to want to be able to deal some damage here or there, so I think we might go ahead and put our 13 into strength. And then, why not an 11 into constitution, an 11 into wisdom, or I'm sorry, intelligence, and then wisdom, we're gonna go 7 for our wisdom, and then 11 for our charisma. So that's how we've distributed our die rolls there. And then real quick, let's actually go back to our dwarf here. So I'm going to look at our sub-race again. Let's see. Yeah, so wisdom score increases by 1, so plus 1 equals 8. Cool. And then also, skipped over this earlier, but just by being a dwarf, regardless of our sub-race that we pick, let's see, our ability score increases, our constitution by 2. Let's go ahead and plus 2. So our constitution is now 13. So we've got our age, our alignment, let's see, anything else? Okay. So we're going to come back to some of these dwarf traits later on. Right now we're focused on just the more crunchy aspects of building our character. Let's see, that, you know, things that are going to make a difference often, you know. Okay, so speed, how quickly our character can move, both in combat and just, you know, traveling over land for long distances and periods of time. So our speed is 25 feet, so let's go ahead and go here onto our character sheet, 25 feet. Let's see, some other traits. So our dwarf has dark vision, so that's basically like we can see in the dark. Okay, so let's go down to our special qualities here, and dark vision, and that's out to 60 feet. Alright, what else? Let's see, Dwarven Resilience, advantage on saving throws against poison. Okay, so let's see. Poison resistance. Okay, there we go. Let's see, what else? Okay, so tool proficiency. Okay. Let's see, either smith's tools or brewer's supplies or mason's tools. I'm thinking that our rogue dwarf, you know, he's gonna want to like be able to repair his equipment, and like make his own like knives and daggers and you know, arrowheads and stuff like that. You know, a grappling hook so he can sneak into you know, the castle and steal some treasure or whatever. So yeah, we're gonna pick smith's tools. So let's go to our proficiencies here. Tools. Smith's tools. Alright. And then, let's see what else. Stone cutting. See, whenever you make an intelligence history check related to the origin of stonework, you are considered proficient in the history skill. Double your proficiency bonus to the check. Okay. So let's see. Alright, let's go ahead and add that then. Let's see, stone cunning. I think I said cutting before, but that's cunning. Okay. Let's see, languages. That's useful. So you can speak, read, and write Common. So that's the common language. So basically everyone speaks Common. Alright, let's go ahead and do that. So we speak Common and Dwarvish. Alright. Okay, and then we get our sub-race. Okay. Alright, yeah, so that's basically it. And then we'll come back to our dwarf's age and alignment and size later on. Since that's not... that will be a part of a... kind of a later part of character creation when we kind of do our background. Alright, so we've got that. And then let's go back to our abilities here. So we've got our strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. So let's go ahead and figure out what our modifiers are here. So the normal average human being, your average person who is unremarkable in the world of D&D, has an ability score of 10 across the board. With a 10, you get no penalties, you get no bonuses to any actions that you take. You're very average. Being heroes in Dungeons & Dragons, you generally have higher scores, and having higher scores gives you a higher modifier. And your modifier is the number that you can add to the dice that you roll to see whether you succeed, whether you successfully strike the orc with your axe, or leap from the rooftop of one building to another, or successfully lift the wallet off of some noble or his coin purse. So for every 2 points above 10, your modifier goes up by 1. So with a strength of 12 or 13, we get a +1 modifier. We've rolled really well for our dexterity, so at a 16 we get +3. With a constitution of 13, we get +1. Intelligence is 11, it's not 12 yet, so it's actually going to be 0 modifier for that. And then we have really bad wisdom, so we're actually going to lose on that. So for every 2 points below 10, you lose modifiers. So at 8 we have -1 modifier, at 7 or 6 would be -2, 5 or 4 would be -3. And then again for charisma is at 11, so 0 on that. Okay. So we've got, okay, so we picked our race, we picked our class, and yeah, let's go ahead and jump to our class, jump to the rogue again. Okay. Alright, so let's go ahead and take a look at some of the things that being a rogue gives us. So let's take a look. Class features. Hit points. So as a rogue, we get 1d8 hit dice per level. So we're going to roll an 8-sided die to see how many hit points we gain every level we go up. So between 1 and 8 hit points. At the first level, though, your character always gets maximum hit points. So we're considered to have automatically rolled an 8 for our first level, our first hit die. And then we get to add our Constitution modifier. So having a high Constitution allows us more hit points. So let's go to hit points. So we get 8 plus our Constitution modifier. And as a Hill Dwarf, if you remember, we get +1 hit points for every hit die. So that's 8 plus 1 plus 1. So our starting hit points are 10. Okay, and then let's see. And then our proficiencies. Okay. So in this game, proficiencies allow us to use our proficiency bonus. So if I use a simple weapon or hand crossbow, or if I try to do something with my thieves' tools, or my skills, if I do acrobatics, or if I try to intimidate someone, or if I try to investigate something, because I'm proficient in those things, I get to add my proficiency bonus to my roll. So let's go ahead and put our proficiencies here. So armor. So we are proficient with light armor. So that's going to be like leather armor and padded armor. Okay, weapons. Okay, so you're proficient in all simple weapons. So that's like a quarterstaff or a sling for like throwing rocks at people. A dagger is a simple weapon. So just really basic weapons that are easily manufactured, essentially. So all simple weapons. And let's see, we are also proficient with hand crossbows, long swords, rapiers, and oops, short swords. Alright. What else? Okay, so tools. Thieves' tools. Okay, so in addition to smith's tools... Oops. Spell that right? No, I didn't. Oh. Apostrophe goes after. I get it. Alright. Okay, so whenever I use thieves' tools to like try to pick a lock or set a trap or disable a trap, I am proficient, and I'm proficient, so I can use those tools and get my proficiency bonus, which is pretty sweet. Alright. Okay, and then saving throws. Dexterity and intelligence. Okay. Yeah, so whenever I have to make a saving throw, so whenever something bad, besides like somebody just attacking you, like, you know, trying to punch you in the face or whatever, whenever something bad is going to happen to you, generally the game will have you make a saving throw. So you roll a 20-sided die, and then different things will call for different types of saving throws. So say a wizard casts a fireball at you. You can try and dodge out of the way of the explosion, and dexterity is the skill that is most useful for that. So you'll make a dexterity saving throw. So you would roll a 20-sided die, add your dexterity modifier, and since I'm proficient with the dexterity saving throw, I would then also get to add my proficiency bonus, add all that stuff up, and then if I roll high enough, I get to dodge out of the way, or take less damage from the wizard's fireball. Okay, so now skills. So there are, I believe, 19 different skills in the game. And see, I get to choose 4 from acrobatics, athletics, deception, insight, intimidation, blah 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 blah. So we definitely want to be stealthy. So our character, our dwarf, has been skulking around the alleyways, the dark, shadowy alleyways of, you know, large metropolitan cities, stealing from the unwary. So we're going to want to be stealthy, and for our pickpocketing, we're going to want to be good with sleight of hand. Definitely. Let's see what else. You know, as a professional artist of prestidigitation or legerdemain, I guess, we're going to want to be a little bit deceptive, where we can like convince the city guard or whatever that, you know, we didn't actually just steal, you know, this dude's stuff. So we're gonna do that, and you know, we're gonna do acrobatics, so we can leap from the second story building or window of the noble's mansion with our loot, and you know, kind of skirt along the edge of you know, some ledge of the castle to sneak in through the window or whatever. Alright, cool. So we got those. Okie doke. And then I guess we are on to let's actually take a look at some of this other stuff. Okay. Okay, so expertise is another one of our class features. So at first level, choose 2 of your proficiencies, or 1 of your skill proficiencies, and a proficiency with the Thieves' Tools, and I get to double my proficiency bonus when I use that, so that's pretty cool. So instead of the +2 as a first level rogue, I get +4 for those skills. So let's go ahead and yeah, why not? We'll go ahead and do Thieves' Tools. So we'll just go and put like a ×2, so we know that we get double the proficiency bonus. And then 1 of my skills, we don't want to get caught, so let's go ahead and do stealth. So ×2 for stealth. Okay. And then also at first level, we get a sneak attack. So whenever I would have advantage on an opponent, so like if I had, like, I was on the higher ground, or I was sneaking around, they didn't even see me, or if we were in battle and I had an ally on the opposite side of the monster and we were flanking the monster, I would have advantage, which means that I get a bonus to my roll, and I get to do extra damage with my sneak attack, which is, at first level, 1d6. So, we'll go ahead and add that to our special qualities. Sneak attack, plus 1d6. Alright, cool. Alright, and then Thieves' Cant. So during your rogue training, you learned Thieves' Cant, a secret mix of dialect, jargon, and code that allows you to hide messages in seemingly normal conversation. Cool. So we'll consider that like a part of our languages. So we'll go ahead and put that here. Oops. Okay. Thieves' Cant. Alright. Okay, and then the next one is Cunning Action, but as we can see, this is starting at level 2. So that we can ignore, and actually everything else for the remainder. It'd be nice to know this stuff so you know kind of where you're headed, but we don't have to deal with that right now at first level. So I think we are then on to describing our character. So this is part 4. So let's see here. Let's go ahead and jump ahead. Okay. So one of the things we get to do now is we get to pick a background for our character. In previous versions, or at least 3rd edition and earlier, they didn't really have this. You kind of had to come up with everything on your own. A lot of role-playing games are doing that, this kind of thing these days, and I really like it. It just makes character creation a lot easier, and kind of plants a lot of seeds for creating some cool ideas and just being creative. So there's a bunch of different backgrounds that you can take for your character, like Acolyte, Criminal, Folk Hero, Noble, there's a Soldier, Artisan. There's some cool stuff that you can pick, but we're a rogue. We steal stuff, and we're going to pick Criminal as our background. So, having picked the criminal background, an experienced criminal with a history of breaking the law, we get some bonus stuff. So we get some extra skill proficiencies. So, with skill proficiencies as a criminal, we gain Deception and Stealth. And since I've actually already picked those skills as a part of my Thieves, or as a rogue, we're actually going to jump back and pick a couple other ones. So besides So deception and stealth. Let's go ahead and pick perception. Make it easier to find, you know, that perfect mark in the crowd. So let's go ahead and perception. Okay, got that. And how about athletics? That'll let us, you know, if we get caught, we can run. Okay. Athletics. There we go. Cool. Alright. Let's go ahead and jump back to our background here. Alright. Okay. So we've got our skill proficiencies and then tool proficiencies. Okay. So we get a type of gaming set. So let's actually go ahead and find our way to equipment. I think we passed it up. There we are. Okay, so we got a gaming set. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of the different gaming sets. Okay, so gaming sets. So dice, dragon chess set, playing card set, and 3 dragon anti-set. What do we want? You know what? I like dice. So let's go ahead and pick tools, gaming set, dice. There we go. Cool. So we can kind of play craps in the alleyways and kind of cheat some ne'er-do-wells out of their hard-earned coin. Alright. So let's go and jump back. Okay. Alright. So we've got our tool proficiencies equipment. Alright, so we would get a crowbar, a set of dark common clothes, blah 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 blah. We're actually going to be rolling to see how much gold we get, and then we're going to go ahead and buy all of our equipment, so we won't take the kind of given equipment that they provide us with here. So let's go ahead and move on. So as a criminal, we get a criminal specialty. I could just roll an 8-sided die and then compare it against this chart and then have something for my specialty, but I know I want to be a burglar. So let's go ahead and let's see, criminal specialty and burglar. Cool. Alright, and then what's next? Okay, so feature criminal contact. You have a reliable and trustworthy contact who acts as your liaison to a network of other criminals. Okay. Criminal contact. Okay. So we know a guy, his name is Sonny Six Toes. Because he got caught stealing stuff, and he only has 6 toes now. So, cool. Alright. And let's see. Suggested characteristics. Up here. Okay, so every background is going to have you select a personality trait, ideal, bond, and a flaw. You get 2 personality traits and then 1 each of the ideal, bond, and flaw. And again, you can just roll on this chart, or you could just pick one, or you could come up with something completely new and unique and interesting that you want for your character. But let's see. Let's see, personality traits. There's some things on here I definitely don't want. But I get to pick 2, so let's see. Let's go ahead and do personality traits. Okay, yeah, we'll do 3 here. So, note the location of everything valuable. Alright. And then, let's see. Let's see. Let's always have a plan. Oops. Okay, there we go. And then we get an ideal. Yeah, let's go ahead and just roll on this one, since I grab a 6-sided die. So my character's ideal. Let's see, I have a 3, so charity. I steal from the wealthy so that I can help people in need. I like that. Charity. Okay, my bond. Let's see. As a bond, I rolled a 4. So my bond, the thing that, like, one of my core motivations, that's kind of my bond, is to I will become the greatest thief that ever lived. Can't leave that. Alright, there we go. Oh, I got one more here. And a flaw. Something that isn't gonna, like, destroy your character, but just makes things more interesting. So, let's see. A flaw. Let's go ahead and roll. 5. I turn tail and run when things look bad. Alright. I'm sure my fellow party members will be super happy with that. Okay. Got that. Alright, cool. So that is our criminal background.